Welcome everybody to a new episode of the Heel Heat SummerSlam preview with our special guest, as always, Wrestling with Honey and her Honey Pop predictions. We were having an interesting conversation before we went live, and I just had to put a pause on it because it was getting really good, and we had to bring it onto the show. So to recap, last night's show, Jay and I were talking about how Triple H seems to be overbooking and playing into some things that he shouldn't have to be doing. Where if you didn't watch SmackDown last night,
spoiler alert.
Don't know
what to say. All day spoilers the whole time. The whole time. Just get out.
DIY lost the titles and dropped them to the Gorillas of Destiny.
Technically, one Gorilla of Destiny and Jacob Fatu, but proceed.
Oh, see, I didn't watch this.
Yeah, okay. No, for some odd reason, Tonga
Loa
not wrestling. Like I don't understand. He's wrestling on the house shows, but he's not wrestling on TV, and I don't necessarily understand why.
Something must have happened.
Yeah, I don't know.
Keep him off.
He's looking like Solo was for a while when we started calling Solo soft before he started wrestling for himself. Like that's what he looks like right now.
Well, when you botch a low blow twice,
that's fair. That's fair. You need some performance center reps ASAP because I don't know what's going on. Oh, I gotta add something else, but I'm gonna keep it for later. It has nothing to do with the card, but it's wrestling related. That's like,
So which it is quite the card. This is quite the card.
This is a hefty. This is a
rival WrestleMania this year. It could rival. I'm not saying it's better than, but it's damn near close.
Yeah, so the conversation we were having was the fact that the titles are being hot potatoed, and I was saying that, and Jay was saying you can't hot potato a belt that has no significance to it because it's still being built. Unlike the mid-card titles, like the mid-tier, Gunther built that IC title, and as much as you hate Logan Paul, he is building that US title. The tag team titles are not being built because they're being hot potatoed. They were given to teams that were literally put together, and they were bound to break apart at one point or another. So it's your and that's how I was saying earlier is if you wanted to give it to these two guys, fine, I get it, but you need to build them as a team that was dangerous to win those belts. They were just like given this match. And if you want to make it, it's like you're saying, Honey, if you want to put it as where or Jay, I think you said, I can't remember, where you're building for the match with the Usos, I get it, but that match does not need a title in there. That match between them has been building for years, since the days of New Japan Wrestling. They called them out.
Oh, Cody finally acknowledged New Japan yesterday. He finally acknowledged Tama Tonga.
Oh yeah.
Which was if you know, you know. But it's like people who don't know don't understand that like Tama Tonga was one of the original members of the Bullet Club.
Mm-hmm.
And Tama Tonga was one of the guys that really wasn't messing. If I remember correctly, he really wasn't messing with Cody joining the Bullet Club at first. And Cody kind of had to like win him over, kind of the way Jay was with Sammy. So, and it was after AJ Styles had left to WWE. So like it was almost like it was for him to take over, and then Cody just kind of came in because he was a bigger star and took over. But like they have the Bullet Club connection that runs deep. And he finally acknowledged it. I was like, okay. So we could run that back later, because I feel like they need to have, and that's my thing. It's like
Cody's gonna have to run through this whole bloodline solo.
Yeah, and that's my thing. That's my issue, is that like if you were gonna do that, if you were gonna do the solo Cody thing, then you would have to almost scrap the Bloodline Civil War thing, because you needed Cody to run through the bloodline.
For now.
Because if Solo's supposed to be this kingpin boss type, the fact that Cody didn't have to go through nobody else and he's just like, oh, I'm gonna come and get you. It's like, that's not how it works, bro. Like, that's not how. No, like, you don't just, I'm gonna do it myself. Like, you gotta send your goonies there to make it seem like, all right, since y'all can't do it, let me show you how to do it. Versus what they did last night, where it was like, Jacob really wrecked shop. And Jacob, to me, looks more like a tribal chief-esque figure. Because whenever Jake... Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I was saying that last night on my stream. I was like, not for nothing, I will acknowledge Jacob Fatu before I acknowledge Solo.
Because it really came out like, yo, whenever Jacob steps into the ring, there's problems.
There's a different story.
It's a different aura. It's a different atmosphere where it's like, yeah, you're going to get your licks in, but when he ready to go, it's almost like it's like the Super Cena or like the Super Drew thing where it's like when they turn it on, it don't matter what you do, bro. They was hitting this nigga with finishers and all types of stuff. Your man just straight up
that toss up Samoan drop that he does. Like I don't know. He's a dangerous man. In some cases, I would consider him way more dangerous than Solo.
Far more. And it's funny because Solo has more in terms of WWE wins under his belt. Like he has more of that, but the way Jacob wins and the way he is like this super athlete. And like he has this aura because everybody kind of knows about him, but they don't really know about him. And then you see him, and it's like, oh, my friends who are independent fans, like now I see what they're talking about. And it's like, oh no, this man's a whole problem. Where it's like, to me, if you're gonna sacrifice any storyline, it's the Intercontinental storyline that you sacrifice. If you're gonna sacrifice anything, give me Solo taking the title off of Sammy in a more significant shot, and then have Solo beat Braun. And that's my problem, is that they protect certain people that don't need to be protected. Like Braun losing to Solo makes way more sense than him losing to Sammy at Money in the Bank. You get what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I'd rather they don't touch the tag division because the tag division they don't need that right now. They don't need to be sucked into the bloodline vortex. The Intercontinental title has never been a part of the bloodline. It'll be a new mid-card where it's like, then you have the friction of, well, the only solo champion in your faction is Jacob. How are you the tribal chief? And then you can play off of that. And then when you do bring the OG bloodline back, it makes Solo look somewhat insecure, which makes Solo dangerous because he feels like he has to prove himself. That's what I mean. Like there's long-term booking and there's just doing dumb stuff for the sake of doing dumb stuff. That's what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like, let me wow everybody, so I'm gonna have DIY lose it and drop the titles to these guys just to get a shock factor. You don't really need that right now.
And that's the thing. It's like, you do that, then there's a reason for Sammy to come in and you can do the whole Sammy thing. There's a reason for Jay to now come back and be like, you know what? I need to get in on this because now they messing with my stuff. They messing with me and my whole flow right now. And then when Jimmy and Roman come to him, it's like, it's the Shield thing all over again, where it's like, we have no reason to come back together except for this one situation. And it's like, you know what? Let me just bury the hatchet because these dudes is pissing me off. And Jay coming back after, like, you need, like, it's one of those situations where you build to Jay versus Jacob, and you have that. And you have the situation where Jay loses to Jacob and they attack him. Then you have a reason for Jimmy to come back.
At the
end of the day, nobody messes with my brother but me.
I get that. But not for nothing. For Jay being main event Jey Uso, I am particularly shocked that he doesn't have a match this weekend.
I'm pissed. It doesn't make sense.
Unless he's going to be a part of costing Solo somehow and helping his former tag partner, Cody Rhodes, keep the belt to keep us from being mortally pissed. Because I know I would be. I'm terrified because we had a feeling that they were, I'm sure we all had that feeling that they were going to be gifting these tag team titles to them. But I didn't think that I was actually going to see them count to 3 and I'll be like, oh, shit. Okay. So this is where we're going. And now it's bloodline rules for this match, which means anything can happen. But ultimately, this tells me a couple of things. I don't know. Something's happening obviously tonight. Something's happening. Someone's returning. A lot of people are saying Roman. I don't think it's going to be that soon.
I don't think it is either.
Roman, everybody needs to understand this man ran the business for like a good 3 years straight, like 3 years, and he's also still mourning his father. And you're gonna need a little bit more time, and for him to want to get back into the lab and get in ring shape and back on his routine again, and he's gonna come out better than ever. If it's not by War Game, probably in Royal Rumble. Don't even be surprised, people. But
I think
this is also
I think the
gearing
latest
towards,
is Bad Blood.
it could be Bad Blood, but I think that's possibly we're in the in between time where I think it's time for Dwayne, the final boss, to start reemerging as well.
I'll say this. I think Roman comes back for Survivor Series War Games, a la CM Punk. At the end of it, you'd be like, "Oh, shit just got real," like type of thing.
The only reason why I don't like that and that doesn't make a lot of sense to me is because of what Triple H said about Braun and Sammy, where he said the only reason why Braun didn't win the title at Money in the Bank was because he wanted the match to be at a big four pay-per-view, right?
Big Four, okay,
right. So the last Big Four pay-per-view of this year is Survivor Series War Games.
Mm-hmm.
And specifically, it's War Games in Vancouver. So it's in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest thing is that if you're going to bring back Roman and it's not for War Games, don't bring him back. Don't. Like, if he's not going to be in the War Games match,
In the War Games match, yeah.
then don't do it.
Because
like,
if he does come out as CM Punk at the end, that's kind of silly. Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, I would rather him come back at a Rumble.
And I'm not disagreeing, but you have to remember Survivor Series is the last pay-per-view of the year, I think, right? I don't think there's anything else after that.
No.
What do they have for December?
Oh, right. No. Bad Blood is in October, right?
Yeah, Bad Blood's in October.
Okay. So yeah, I think Survivor Series is the last one of the year. Yes.
Because you have to think about this. If they can't push Sammy Braun to Survivor Series, and I'll give it away right now. I think Braun is beating Sammy tonight. He's taking that.
Oh no! Once Triple H said that, I knew.
Yeah. If Roman's not coming back tonight, you could have Bad Blood, but I think Bad Blood is when everything starts picking up a lot faster for the between the bloodline, and I think it's like, okay, what's going on here? And then that's when Roman comes in Survivor Series, and you're like, okay, things just picked up a lot. That's what I'm saying. He has to set it up where it's like, okay, it's heating up, and then Roman coming back is like, okay, it's serious, especially because it's the last pay-per-view for the year, and the next thing you have to do is you have to get ready for a Royal Rumble. So that sets up everything, and it gives Roman the ability where he doesn't have to be on TV a lot as it is like he was before, because there's no more pay-per-view to set up until the end of December, getting ready to set up Royal Rumble.
You know what's crazy? I just thought about it. You remember when they had the draft afterwards, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they had Roman back out of the draft, and I know we're going on way off on a tangent because we're not even talking about SummerSlam, but
I know
they removed Roman from the draft, and Solo and this new bloodline are on SmackDown. But the problem, even though Solo is calling out Roman and mentioning his name and calling him weak and all of these things and proclaiming himself the new tribal chief and getting rid of his wise man and recruiting these the new guys, I can't help but wonder if Roman would even care at the moment to return for this bloodline. It could possibly not happen. Because honestly, his problem shouldn't be this bloodline. This bloodline didn't screw him out of his match in WrestleMania. The problem is on Monday Night Raw, and he's going to be refereeing tonight. That's who Roman could possibly come back for. Because honestly, Roman ran SmackDown, but who's to say we won't see him on Raw instead?
Oh no, I believe we are. I believe that, and again, that's what there was a report. I think it was 2 months ago, like when the Netflix deal got done, is that Netflix was demanding that Roman be on Raw for the debut. So I agree with you, but I think if Roman is going to do the Raw thing, it's going to be like Roman wins at Royal Rumble, and you think he's going after Cody for the rematch, and he flips and goes after whoever the World Heavyweight Champion is.
Which Seth could possibly be.
Which, who knows? Who at this point, who knows? I don't know. And I love that. That's why I love Monday, because it's like there's like 8 people I'm good with being champion. Like I'm so fine with like it's 8 or 9 people being champion. I don't like again, they've done such, and I will give, this is where I will give credit where it's due. They've done a miraculous job of making Damian Priest feel so important after him being a backseat champion for the better part of 3 months. This feud with Gunther has so many people like, well, wait a damn minute. I kind of want Damian to win. Like I'm in the boat of I kind of might want them to push this to Bash of Berlin. Not gonna lie, I kind of want to see it. Call me crazy. I kind of want to see it. But again, I think ultimately it's leading to Roman getting that title, Seth being pissed off that Roman has that title, and then you get the Seth versus Roman, but only after you get Rock versus Roman, because you have to somehow get to Rock versus Roman. You have to get to that, and that I know is.
I feel like that could come. I feel like that could come. That's definitely. Listen, we're gonna get that match because we were robbed. We're gonna get that match regardless, and it's the Cody Crybaby's fault. So
I'm one of them. Fuck y'all. Y'all decided to do this shit too late.
It's your fault. Then it's your fault.
No,
eventually we are going to get the final.
It's Dwayne's fault. Blame Dwayne. Talk to Dwayne. That's Dwayne's fault. Dwayne decided to do what he wanted to do and be like, nah, this ain't big enough for me. I don't want to do this now. Talk to the diva. Don't talk to the fans. Don't do that. Don't do that. You know it's Dwayne's fault. Don't blame us. Blame Dwayne. Okay?
I'm gonna do that because the Cody Crybabies push so hard, and we want Cody.
Wrestling storyline
for the last 10 years knew that they wanted Dwayne and Roman first.
Fuck the last 10 years. And again, talk to Triple H then. Don't have Cody win the Royal Rumble. You don't have Cody win the Royal Rumble, we not here. We don't have this problem.
CM Punk was technically supposed to win that Rumble.
Yeah.
Then flip it and let Drew win it. I don't give a fuck. Like you let Drew win it. We still here. And y'all get the Dwayne Rock match.
We're still gonna get it. We're gonna get it next year.
Do that shit at the next WrestleMania. That's what I'm saying. Do that at the next WrestleMania. That don't need a title.
That's exactly what it's gonna be.
My biggest thing is that don't need a title. Stop putting the title in a blood feud.
We definitely don't need a title.
We don't need no title.
All right, so
the only title that they need is High Chief and the High Chief versus the Tribal Chief. I want straight up torches. I want tiki torches. I want everybody outside. I want what's good, Matt? I want tiki torches. I'm beyond. If they can do a cinematic match with these niggas is outside fighting in the dirt, I want it.
I'd rather have the cinematic because like a tribal rules match, like it sounds great. I honestly don't think it should be in the ring. It should be like kind of like you're saying, tiki torches in a circle and just like go all out. And it's like you have a referee there to just be like, okay, who's
screw a referee.
I don't even need that. I don't even need that, man.
Elder. The highest elder at this point that we all know that's left is Rikishi.
No, it's the other Samoan.
Alpha.
You know, your man gonna be in a chair in the back, bro. He's gonna be Shao Kahn in the back. We need somebody that's gonna be active.
It can't be
somebody that's gonna really get in between the two and be like, all right, I need
to. The last thing I want to hear is I did this for The Rock. I don't want to hear that shit.
Listen.
Y'all
Rikishi
get super kicked by his son. I'm good with it.
Y'all way ahead of yourself.
Which one of them? He has so many of them, bro. I just found out he has another son.
Yeah, he got Lance.
No, there's another one.
I know. There's a baby. I know.
There's lots of other ones too, like the 7-foot Hikuleo that's waiting in the wings since signing with WWE as well. So don't be surprised if we see something like that happening tonight. A 7-foot Samoan
Bro.
Get the hell out of here. Which match we going with first?
All right.
Oh yeah, no, we got to get off that and go to the actual card. It's been like 20 minutes. My bad.
Yeah. Let's start off with the CM Punk, Drew McIntyre with special guest referee Seth Rollins.
I'm gonna let y'all do this because I was 4 when this match happened the first time. I'm gonna defer to you guys. I don't know what happened at the '96 SummerSlam. I was 4. I don't remember.
What happened was a certain Taker and Bret Hart had a match, and Shawn Michaels was the referee, and you didn't know whose side he was on or was gonna pick because Shawn had a way with getting on both their nerves at the time and pretty much everybody else's nerves at the time.
Shawn being
I think there was a situation where Shawn went to super kick somebody and accidentally hit the wrong person or hit the other person and got himself all screwed up with said person. I can't remember if it was on Bret to Undertaker or on Undertaker to Bret, but it was definitely involved in that match. And I think there was like 27.
I think he meant to hit Bret and he got the Undertaker.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm assuming that led to a Shawn Michaels Undertaker match after that.
Oh yes, for sure.
Okay. So given the details I was just given, I firmly believe, and I think it makes more sense for CM Punk to come out with a win, with a reluctant Seth Rollins counting to 3, like really pissed off having to count to 3, and then because then you can move CM Punk on to any number of title contenders that you have on Raw right now, and kind of get him in the mix for setting up a world title match with him, because I think they want to put the title on CM Punk. They just have to figure out how to do it. That's just my prediction. I think that they definitely do want to, because there's nothing sweeter to me than Roman Reigns taking the title a couple of months from now from CM Punk and just having him be fucked over by yet another Shield member. I just think that's poetic justice in like the most beautiful way.
That's crazy. I didn't think of that. But
and it also sets up if they do keep the Usos separate in a lot of ways, it sets up the Roman versus Jay rematch that I want, but with Jay being as elevated as he is, where you really get like, and you get like a babyface Roman type where it's more of a respect thing. And that way, if you need to have Roman like take extended time off, you have it where it's almost like he's passing the torch off to Jay, and then he can come and go and be more of the legend figure that he's supposed to be at this point in his career, versus him being the active wrestler, being the tribal chief, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. That's just my prediction. I'm in a crazy space right now because last night just fucked me up. So I'm throwing shit at the wall and see what fits to like whatever narrative I would be okay with, versus like the hot tool crap that I've been seeing.
The hot. So, I can honestly say that I am not going to predict CM Punk winning this match. I think somehow, obviously, this is going to be the match with a lot of shenanigans. Seth is going to assert his authority and could do it in a way where it pisses CM Punk off so much that he finally throws hands and lays hands on him, to the point where probably Seth would have to disqualify him and claim Drew the winner. So I think Drew because Drew's been screwed already 2 different times for title opportunities by CM Punk on big stages and in his home. So Drew definitely needs to get the win up on CM Punk, and we're definitely going to see CM Punk and Seth throwing hands. We're going to finally see them being able to put hands on each other at one point, because that's the match that everybody really wants. And they need to end the CM Punk and Drew thing. Drew needs to get closure, call it a day, go after Priest.
Or Gunther.
But Gunther's not winning either. So
All right, you ready for this
yeah,
one? I kind of agree with Jay a bit, but I'm gonna change it around.
No.
So something's gonna happen between the three of them. Seth's gonna
Of
get
course.
pissed, and it's gonna be Drew that pisses him off the most. He goes to super kick Drew. He just bobs and weaves, and then pop. CM Punk gets popped out, and Drew just like, oh, I'll take that. He covers him, and he's looking at Seth, and Seth is just like hesitating to pin, and CM Punk just can't. So he just slowly just starts like kind of giving CM Punk a chance to kick out, but he just won't, and that's it. Drew wins, and then you have this match between CM Punk and Seth building, and you have them figure out who is going to be the heel. You don't pick. You have the fans kind of decide and sway the decision of who's going to be the heel because of the fact if you throw in CM Punk as the face and Seth as the heel when the fans want it the other way around, you're not going to get the fans too involved into it. Let the fans figure out by the reactions who you want the heel.
It's
who
just
you want
basically about who's the top guy.
yeah, because I
Who's
think
the top guy. And it's finally, and that could be a bad blood match. Quite
right.
honestly.
And what thing is I like about it is because you could actually have a heel CM Punk come into this.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're both going to stay the same. I don't know about the face.
I think you're going to have a lot of neutral grays, and the shots are going to be at each other, not necessarily about the fans. So it's like you get like that fever pitch of like during the match, you get it going back and forth. Like
you
they
imagine
just
how loud like it was when Hogan and The Rock were standing there for WrestleMania. You can imagine how HBK versus Y2J, where you couldn't even tell which side of the crowd was rooting for what because they both sounded the same.
Right.
You know, and imagine how loud it would be when they're trying to sing Seth's song and also chanting CM Punk on top of that.
And then remember, in that Rock and Hogan match, Hogan came in as the heel and literally in the match.
But they were cheering him the whole time. They were cheering him.
Right. So then if you have Punk turning heel, and if Priest, as they were saying, is being turned face, you can keep that dynamic and that going through as well if Priest retains. I'm saying so it all depends on what happens at the end of the night because it's like I said, this is an interesting scenario. And you can have Drew laugh his ass off and walk away from this feud with CM Punk right now as well. And you can kind of put a pause button on it too because he got the win, but is it really over?
And I think that also sets up an interesting scenario of how you can take the title off of Priest without having to kill his momentum at Bash of Berlin. Even though I feel bad for Drew because then Drew would be the fall guy again for Bash of Berlin, but
yeah. All right, so Jay is the only one that's not agreeing into this one. It's all right. All right, the next one.
I think Punk wins. Yeah, I think Punk wins.
So yeah, Drew. I say Drew.
Yeah, me and you both said Drew. Jay said CM Punk. All right,
but you agreed with Jay though.
No, he agrees with the setup. It's just he's flipping guys.
Oh, in reverse. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that setup is what I like because like it makes sense. You have to have Seth cause the match for somebody, and I think it's
we know it's 96 SummerSlam. Like we know what they're doing.
Yeah,
it's a matter of who's Brett, who's Taker at this point.
Yeah, this next one is Sammy versus Braun. And I'm taking Braun Breaker at this point.
I think we're all taking Braun at this point. Like it's one of those where it's like if it's almost like this feels almost like the Sammy Chad match where it was like, now you gotta go with Chad, right? Like you have to go with Chad, and then they screwed us, and it's just like nah. But like, especially if you guys are right and Drew wins, you need Sammy free. Because you need to add Sammy back into that main event mix where you have about 9 guys that all have history with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like at that point, you add Sammy. Sammy has history with everybody. So it makes sense for Sammy to then throw himself into that mix where it's like, then you could have a number 1 contenders match at Bad Blood. And then when you have Survivor Series, that's when you have the big blow-off match for the next contender.
Okay. Yeah, Braun Breaker Braun Breaker as well. I feel like
It's
he's a
about
shark.
that.
He's a shark in the water,
Mm-hmm.
and it's one of the big four. It'd be a big moment for him.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think there's more to Sammy as far as just being the Intercontinental Champion. I'm not really
Mm-hmm.
proud about him being a placeholder or happy about it, being
Mm-hmm.
especially that he was the one who took it off Gunther.
Mm-hmm.
But I do find it very interesting that both of these men have beaten Gunther.
That's what I'm saying.
And they're
Like
fighting for the IC title.
and then on top of that, then you allow for you're coronating Braun the way you coronated Gunther in a lot of
Mhm.
ways.
Yeah. You want him to be that unstoppable champion for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I
All
see
right.
it for him.
The next one is Logan Paul versus LA Knight. I'm not even gonna ask, honey. I'm gonna put LA Knight in there for her right away.
Thank you. Because I have no freaking words. That was probably the only thing that made me happy last night. The fact that this little
That
piece
was
of shit
hilarious.
was humiliated and
Not to
LA
mention,
Knight proclaiming him being fake Cleveland,
you know what's crazy? I didn't know that he was raised in the suburbs of Cleveland, so that call out was beautiful. And
Oh,
he
yeah.
was just like, "Oh, it's still Cleveland." I'm like, "Nah, bro. That's like saying you from Buffalo. And like you're from Buffalo, and you say you're
You're
from New
from New
York City.
York, but you're saying
Yeah,
you're from Buffalo, not like New York, Manhattan, the
yeah."
city.
Or like,
Like,
"Oh, I'm from Albany." It's like,
No, that's not New York.
well, I'm from New York. Oh, which borough?
But
Buffalo.
I will
That's
say
Canada.
that I will say that some shenanigans will happen in Logan Paul because I heard that there's rumors of Jake being around or somebody that Logan Paul's got being around,
mm-hmm.
and I have a feeling that Cleveland's own, and I can't believe I'm about to say this because I'm a fucking Steelers fan, but Myles Garrett has always been a renowned wrestling fan and showed up to wrestling. Myles Garrett could possibly help Mr. LA Knight. Not that LA Knight needs the help, but I'm just saying with the assistance of Logan Paul and his sliminess, because we know how he plays dirty, and finally have that little motherfucker lose this title.
Not to mention, shout out to Myles Garrett for being named top 5 player in the NFL Top 100.
What, he was top 5?
He was 5.
All right, whatever. TJ Watt was 8.
He was 8. Yeah,
Mhm.
he was 8. Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're not gonna talk about who the top 3 was. That's a whole nother podcast. Because
I didn't even see the top 3. I just know that TJ Watt was 8. That's all I cared about.
I'll put it like this: Patrick Mahomes was 4.
Interesting.
That's what I said. I was like, okay,
Well, we'll discuss this after we're done.
yeah, that's a different.
Because I want
podcast.
to know who that.
Yeah, that's a different
were.
podcast.
I'm gonna have to
I got
look
told last night. I was like, really? This is what we're doing? Okay, this season gonna be spicy. It's gonna be spicy this season. Anywho,
who you got, Paul?
They need to take that title off of Logan Paul already. I need to see it defended. I need to see it on somebody's name. It's got to be LA Knight.
two defenses in 172 days is 272 days is crazy.
Listen, this is what
Crazy.
everybody wanted. Everybody wanted Logan Paul to be champion. He was going to be a great wrestler. He's going to serve the WWE well.
I can't stand the Logan. Paul
we never said that. We said that we know what they were doing.
Saying everybody. I wasn't saying.
I was gonna say we
all
predicted it, but we all reluctantly predicted it because it's like, yo, you know what's gonna happen, but like this is garbage. This is trash.
This is
not
trash.
to mention.
I'd rather take Ronda Rousey back than have to deal with freaking.
I would prefer them put it on Bad Bunny.
I would too. That would actually be sick.
That too.
That would be type sick. But especially after what Logan Paul just got his messy hands into.
Oh yes.
With that Olympian,
you gotta go.
And apparently the reason why he took the tweet down was because WWE reached out to him, HR reached out to him, and he was still the rumor is that he went kicking and screaming, to quote them, regarding his stance on the Olympic boxer that was falsely accused of being transgender.
Yeah, that's a whole nightmare, man. I'm telling people like, yo, you got to get your information right. Don't just follow. Like, do your research. Like,
Logan.
So, I would say to me, at this point, the Logan Paul experiment has run its course.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. You notice his celebration last night wasn't over the top the way it should have possibly looked. WWE was like, nah, we're
like we're gonna do this story, but like,
I think what happened. I think what happened is
a freaking banner. That's all they gave him.
Here's the thing: if like say he tweeted out last night, if going into last night's show or before that tweet, they were kind of like figuring out teetering Does he retain it? Does he lose it? After that tweet, they're like, nah, screw it. You're losing it. You're losing it.
Bye.
You're done.
And it's time to crown LA Knight. It's time
It
to get
is.
sold
Yeah,
on this.
it is.
It's
earned
long
it.
overdue.
He's
He earned a
it.
belt. If
He's
you're
paid
gonna
his
put
dues.
the main one, at least put this one on him. He's gonna
Yes.
get a pop.
And
He
let it
will
be a
get pop.
defending champ. Have him do challenges every week because you know he's good for it.
Oh yeah.
People go crazy for him.
Oh yeah,
anyway.
no,
He's a
bring
fan
back the
favorite.
open challenge. Bring
Absolutely.
back the open challenge. But also,
Ooh, I
Tim,
want
And
to
bring
use
back
this.
John Cena to answer one of those because
Yes.
you know you already know he gave him the rub last year, and that would be a killer match. They're just gonna keep building LA Knight.
I think this is a setup for, as much as I love LA, I think LA is kind of a transitional champion. Like he's gonna get his run. I'm not, but I think he's gonna get his run because I think this is setting up for one of Andrade or Carmelo Hayes to take the title off of him. Because why else would Carmelo the first person he popped off with when he came
was
on
LA Knight.
was LA Knight. I'm like, why? Like of all people,
You fucking
like
with the wrong one, man.
it makes no like
Of all
especially
people.
because of where LA Knight was at that point. I was like, what is this for? And then you see the matches with him and Andrade, and you can do the him and Andrade thing.
It's like
the end of the year.
it's like looking at look at the little NXT kid. Look at Melo. Look at
But
Melo
then-
trying to up.
Yeah, and now you take a step back and it's like, wait a minute. Because you look at what they did with Braun, and I'm like, oh, okay, I see what y'all doing here. This is a setup for you to put your kids in place.
So yes. I was gonna say you got Ilya in there.
Yep, you got Ilya, and then on top of that, and then imagine the situation where when Trick finally is ready to get called up, Carmelo Hayes, the US champion, boy, man.
Yeah.
They just have to reheat Trick back up because the crap they doing with him in NXT is breaking my heart. But I trust Sean. Sean ain't really lead me astray too much. I understand why they're doing what they're doing.
Listen.
I understand why they're doing what they're doing. Like, all right, I get it. You gotta give the TNA fans what they need. And I think they're sweetening the pot for something bigger. But that's after the prediction show, we can go into like a little corner of like
they're trying to rework those relationships that were those burnt bridges, those partnerships. So, and he's doing very well with it, even though I definitely didn't agree with Trick losing that title.
No, not at all.
But I'm glad we're all in agreement that Logan Paul deserves to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, and he deserves to be gone a good long time. Like,
yeah,
let him go and do.
I think he will be. I don't think if he comes back, he'll be one of those that special guests, but I don't think he'll be winning much at all.
No.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it.
No,
but
I think he screwed himself with that tweet. Like,
yeah,
I understand you have your views, but when you're dealing with a company like WWE, you have to be careful. Like, look at Money Monet, Sasha Banks. She literally finally came out saying that her and her husband have been separated since 2020. And they're fine. And she's announced it because of the fact of Vince McMahon. People saying, "Oh, she's blaming Vince." No. The thing is, because of the fact the way Vince runs the company and WWE's run, they're all about image. If your image is, if you in some way to them, if your image is tarnished, they're gonna kill your momentum.
But and she did mention that he wanted to do a romance between her and Reggie, and she was against it completely. And the only thing that gave her leverage was that she was married. If she would have announced that she was getting divorced, Vince would have pulled the trigger on that.
Or he would have used that, and he would have probably thrown the divorce in there and used that storyline as the reason for her divorce. Which, again, we know Vince will do that, a la Matt Hardy, Edge, and Lita.
Yep.
Threw that all in the face of everybody. And I felt bad for those two because it's like, I get it. It's crazy. But to put that out there and you have Matt literally fighting, like probably going off a script because he has so much anger in there. Somebody could get hurt. I'm surprised.
The motherfuckers really fought on live television.
Yeah, like they was really
fought.
Yeah, they were not like, and it was mostly Matt because of the fact that he was hurt. Like, and I get it, you're hurt. I'm saying, but that can cause somebody to get hurt. Either he would have gotten hurt or Edge could have gotten hurt, which I'm surprised nobody got really hurt going on that.
Yeah, well,
so
good luck to Mercedes Moné, but we got to talk about SummerSlam. The LA Knights winning and next
Yeah.
match.
All right.
Yeah.
Next one is I think I'll save this for later because this is well. Now let's go down. Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa.
Oh, you just trying to rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, let's just go. Let's go. Whew. All right. I'm going with Cody retaining. I think he needs to retain to keep the storyline going. I think Hikaru's going to make his appearance, and I think this is where we start seeing the bloodline feud within itself to start.
I'm terrified of this match now that last night happened. I'm not sure what to expect. I know there will be definitely some shenanigans involved, but it seemed like Cody would need some help. I also there's no way I'm gonna I mean I didn't pick him last night, so I can't go back on my pick. But there's no way that you Cody crybabies out there didn't put me through all this shit to where I was deprived of a main event that I wanted and sacrificed that main event for your crybaby asses just so you can have Cody be a transitional champion and give it to Solo. I didn't come all this way for that. So I am really, really hoping that Cody retains, and I'm going to stick with my pick for Cody to retain. But screw you, Solo Sikoa. I will acknowledge Jacob Fatu before I acknowledge you as a tribal chief, sir. This Timu bloodline. Okay. When Roman comes back, it's going to be sweet. It's going to be so sweet. I'm going to try not to. I don't want to go too much off on the rails.
All I can say is nah, boo boo.
Petty spaghetti.
Yes, I am. I'm a proud Cody crybaby. Y'all can fight me. I don't care. But I do agree with one thing that you said. I think Roman comes back, but I don't think he cares as much that Solo's going after the title. I think it's more, if anyone's going to beat Cody, it's going to be me. It's not going to be you. And I think that's why. I don't know if Roman specifically comes back.
I don't think
I think there will be shenanigans to where someone is sent by Roman.
Hikuleo.
It could be Hikuleo, but I think the Hikuleo swerve comes after Jimmy comes back. Because remember, bloodline rules, there's 3 or 4 of them. It's going to take at least 2 extra people to help with that.
I mean, well, you can have Jimmy come back and be like, no. And like, okay, Jimmy's like outgunned. And you got the freaking 7-footer Hikuleo coming, like, holy crap.
You guys
like,
are forgetting about Jay.
The thing with Jay is I think they're waiting for the confrontation of Jimmy and Jay or Jay and Roman before they pull the trigger on Jay coming back to the bloodline. I don't think Jay just shows up.
Nah, you have to mend those fences, and it's not going to be.
You have to mend those fences.
Yeah,
but they're all going to be in Cleveland in SummerSlam. If we do see an interaction lately, every PLE we've seen them interact, not necessarily speak, but the last time we saw that, Solo, Tama Tonga, and Jimmy, they were walking by Jey Uso, and there was like a little stare down going on. So you never know.
I think too, and again, I forget that Cody is Jay's boy, so like I could see that happening. So like I think that there are definitely shenanigans that are going to be involved, but I think Cody needs to retain just to kind of take the title and Cody away from this whole bloodline thing and let it be a real family feud. Because the core of that is about family and greatness within family and the struggle of who's going to run the family. I don't think you need to add outsiders in that to influence anyone.
There's some the Samoan dynasty is gonna end up, the storyline they're gonna do is have it end up being like the Targaryen dynasty. The only thing that can destroy it is itself.
Yeah.
My God, the finale for House of the Dragons tomorrow.
Oh my God.
I'm sad. I'm so sad. I'm scared.
Wait, a series finale?
Yeah.
Series finale?
No, season. They still have like
Season.
one more season left because they still haven't actually done the Dance of the Dragons yet.
Okay.
It's
I haven't
already-
watched it.
It has begun.
Oh no, the dragon warfare has definitely popped off, but the Dance of the Dragon specifically, where you have uncle versus nephew, has popped off. That's what I'm waiting for.
Oh, so I should start
I'm
watching
waiting
that.
for Damon versus Aemon. Like I'm waiting for that.
Everybody's waiting for
better
that.
pop off.
So I should start watching then, huh?
Yeah,
You
definitely
do,
should.
man. And there's
'Cause the
so
way-
many more dragons, and they're so beautiful.
And the
so-
way Rhaenyra pulled out the clip on Homeboy last episode, she lifted up her waistband and said, "Yeah, now what, nigga? What's up? What's poppin'?" She really
Basically,
pulled up and said, "What's poppin', homeboy?" She
Right.
pulled a Kaiba when Kaiba did the first Blue Eyes White Dragon fusion. She said, "Yeah, was good, my boy." I was like, "Oh, let's go!" Woo-hoo!
I was like, "Oh my
And
god!"
I'm
It's
waiting
beautiful.
for next season because I know there's gonna be betrayal and deception and side switching.
Somebody's. I feel like somebody's dying in this finale for sure.
Somebody's got to die. So like stakes have to happen. Somebody has to die. I think I know who it is too. But
Solo Sokoa is one of them.
I'm gonna keep my opinions for offline, but
Yes,
like we can have that
'cause
conversation.
There's a lot of people that don't know exactly what
Yeah.
happens in the books and things like
Yep.
that. Like I think I know what might happen and who it might happen to and everything. So, but carrying on.
All right, who's ready for this one? Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley.
Here's my thing. Here's my thing. I don't. In order for this to, because of how sloppy I feel like this has been, I feel like this has been booked very sloppily.
It's the
Because
hottest story going.
I didn't say it wasn't good. I just said it was sloppy.
Oh.
I'm not saying it's not good.
I mean, it is supposed to be sloppy. It's messy.
I just mean in the way of. I think first off, my prediction is that Liv retains.
Yes.
But my issue has always been that with Dominic, there never has been a time where Dominic really looks like he's giving into Liv. Like you've had that one moment in the ring when Rhea came back, but I feel like you didn't sell it to me enough. Like I don't believe you.
Well, then maybe he'll make you a believer when he.
That's my thing. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for that moment, but I think that it does not come. I think I'm gonna pull a Paul here. I think there's a bigger swerve.
Oh, I feel like there's definitely a bigger swerve.
I think the swerve isn't Dom. I think the swerve is
Finn.
I think Finn's the swerve, and it's not about a romantic thing. It's the fact that Finn has always hated the Judgment Day, and he infiltrated the Judgment Day at the beginning. Because when the Judgment Day first started feuding with Finn, he did the too sweet thing with Liv, and I forgot who else.
AJ Styles.
AJ Styles, right? I think since that moment they've been plotting to bring down the Judgment Day. And it's been such a long-term build. That's why he brought in JD. That's why he's been kind of playing with Carlito as like the foil to kind of cause the friction that was needed. So that he looks like the loyal soldier, so that when the flip happens, it blows up the Judgment Day.
He also took the key card.
Yeah, he took the key card, and no one knows what happened after that.
And his face was the only one that wasn't like crossed out or messed up on that.
So I think that Finn, Liv, and JD are going to be one faction. And then they did this split too. That's the crazy part, is that they showed them coming in together.
Yeah.
I think Liv, Finn, and JD are going to be one faction. Priest is going to be his own thing, with him and Rhea still having that like rapport, and then it's going to be like the Eddie Guerrero China of Rhea Ripley and Dom.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's how you get the Eddie Guerrero China thing with them too.
I feel like Liv is definitely going to retain, but I feel for different reasons she's going to be a step ahead, and it's not going to be just with Finn, because you also have to take care of the Rhea Ripley problem. Mommy is not going to stop gunning for her title that she never lost, that she had to forfeit via injury. So I think that Liv retains, but she also possibly has some muscle as well. to help her back up
I
up
hope she's
mommy
healthy. That's all I'm gonna say. I hope she's
and
healthy. I
and
hope
and
she's healthy.
and possibly give that Shawn Michaels Diesel effect.
Mm-hmm.
Well, technically that's what they try to do with Liv and Rhea. But I feel like this could be more like when Shawn had Sid Vicious or Psycho
Mm-hmm.
Sid in his
Oh, she
corner.
came in with the deep cut. Okay, I see you, big dog. She came
And
in with the deep cut on that one.
I
Ooh.
think that because the only person that we know of that has defeated mommy easily is Raquel. And that's only if she's healthy and it because we haven't heard anything from her. She's been radio silent for
Yeah.
quite some time.
Yeah, I hope
And-
they figured they were able to get that thing.
But if that is the
Calm
case,
down.
then Liv has a whole new faction along with some muscle.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys saw the report. Apparently, she was cleared by WWE.
Oh no, I saw that. That's why I said
I
I
did
just
not
hope she's
see
healthy.
that.
Okay,
I
yeah, she
saw that,
was
yeah.
cleared. So I'm saying, like, I
just
hope they figured out her issue that
triggers.
she's her.
Yeah.
And she
her
was
triggers,
also a
health
former
issue.
tag team partner with her as well. She was tag team
Right.
partners with both Rhea and Raquel. So I
Yeah,
think there's a lot of deep history and storytelling there that could be told with that. And
Yeah,
that could be the crew that infiltrate and blows up, causes the Judgment Day to blow up. We're finally going to see Mommy and Damian Priest blow up. They might still have some kind of rapport, but there's always going to be that debate, that silent debate of who the real leader of the Judgment Day was.
yeah.
Which
Who
is
do you
why
guys- who
also
do you guys have
Damien
winning?
needs to retain as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's for Liv.
Mm-hmm.
Live.
And I've just always thought that Raquel, as smiley and happy and all that she's a better heel.
Yes. When she was
She's
with
a
Dakota
better
Kai,
heel.
oh my God.
Yeah, she's
yeah.
such a better heel.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Where it's like, stop doing the back flex thing. Stop doing that. Just let her stand there and just clothesline people's fucking dome off, please.
Take the,
Like we need that brutality in the women's division.
You want to take note on that kind of shit? Watch China in her beginning years.
no.
Mhm.
You
That girl
you gotta
didn't
watch her.
flinch, didn't move, didn't do anything. And the moment she did, people went crazy. It took she was like still for like a year, just standing there.
Yeah,
Ever
thing is,
since.
I
Okay.
like Raquel when she was at the what's that called, the tournament? That tournament. Oh, what the heck was that? The women's
The Mae Young Classic.
The Mae Young Classic. That's when I first saw her. When she came out, you should see it. I don't know if you guys remember that match she had. She came out. She was brutal. I was like, okay, that's what I want from a wrestler from her size and her stature. That's what I want to see. Like, she was just with the clothesline. She was just coming. I was getting like JBL vibes with her clotheslines.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what she needs to get back to.
Yeah, and that works for her. Like, it works.
Yeah.
You know, so
and like again, having that angry, not for nothing, having that angry Latina that's not 4'2" and just out here kicking people and rolling her hips and all that.
Walking with Chacleta.
Yeah, like again, give us a real dangerous, fierce Latina that doesn't have to do the whole Spanish gimmick.
You talking about
that doesn't have to do the gimmick to get over. It's just
y'all. What are y'all saying?
I'm saying, give me somebody you're not trying to sell merch for. Like with Lola, you're trying to sell merch. With Zelina, you're trying to sell merch. With Raquel, you just want brutality. Like, I want her to big boot because Rhea can sell it. I want her to big boot her I want her to big boot Rhea so hard that you think that her neck had a fucking adjustment. Like, that's the kind of brutality I want. Where it's like, yo, you really are, like, Rhea really might be in trouble here.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's been, because she's been so dominant, you need someone that's going to challenge that. And you're not bringing up Lash Legend anytime soon. And she's the only other person that even remotely comes close to her size. So it's like if you're gonna do the Raquel thing, like, you need her to be a heel, and you need her to be like a disrespectfully horrid human.
She's thinking. Look, we love Zelina. We love her. It's just that
lies.
No, I
don't believe you.
It's okay. The Chacleta thing was hilarious. We got it, but like, okay, that was like so last year. and you're still walking
Yeah.
out with it. Like, come on, like it's cute and all when it was
She's
happening.
still walking out with it. She hasn't had that Chuck. No, she hasn't. Not like
Again,
that.
they're just
Yeah.
now starting to book her where she's
Where you
the
supposed
Zelina
to
that
start taking her more seriously.
Yeah, like she's the Zelina from NXT in a lot of ways. The only thing missing from me is you got to give her the black mass. You have to give her the black mass as a finisher because her finisher it's not scary enough. You need that Sutton that like, yo, hold on, that's Aleister Black's wife too. Oh, like she's dangerous because again, she's training with him. Even though she's small, you need her to be dangerous. Like that was the appeal of Alexa Bliss. Is that Alexa Bliss was small, cute, tiny, but she was dangerous because she was the one person that when you knew when she showed up, she might mess around and get a championship. You knew. It didn't matter if it was a horsewoman.
Speaking of which, she just dyed her hair pink again.
I know, and she's been back in the ring.
And they're in Cleveland, which is where she's from as well. She's from Ohio as well.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that. Also, too, you've seen the Charlotte video, right?
Yes.
So Charlotte is definitely. I think Charlotte's probably more Royal Rumble.
I think Charlotte could come to SummerSlam. I think she could come at SummerSlam.
She could, but
after the Queen wins.
That's what I'm saying. It's a matter of where does she fit? Where does she fit?
Speaking of next match, Bayley versus Nia Jax.
Nia Jax.
Because that, if anything, this is where she would come out.
Listen, I've been rooting for her since she's resurfaced and returned with this new packaging, this new look, new music, new moveset, better moveset, better work in the ring, and killing it with the bonsai drop, doing it Yokozuna style, like tributing your Samoan family. I see a bright future for the tribal queen. I was going for Queen Nia Jax the whole time. So I there's no way that I didn't come all this way to see her lose a title.
I also think it sets up perfectly a feud between her and Charlotte, where as much as people are going to hate it, I would want Charlotte to come out only because then you could do the cash in.
A lot of people are predicting a failed cash in from Tiffany Stratton, and I'm not sure why.
I don't, especially with the fact that you have the women's Money in the Bank being such a guarantee now, and it's so like they've done the women's Money in the Bank the way they should have been doing the men's for a long time.
Right.
I don't think that you should mess that up, and I think that if your plan is to make Tiffany the next one, what you're doing with Carmella and what you're doing with Braun, you have to give Nia her due. I say that, but then you can flip it onto somebody that you already know fans are going to get behind. And Charlotte, especially a babyface Charlotte.
And I feel like Charlotte still has some time to work and get back in. I don't know if it'll happen, if she'll come back just yet. Like I said, like maybe Royal Rumble to me. Maybe Royal Rumble seems ideal.
Because I think it makes more sense for her to win the Royal Rumble, her to win at Mania, and you do a Seth Rollins style cash in.
And she'll be a 3-time Rumble winner.
Right. You give, like I said, you give her the accolades, you give her due, but you also use that star power to get Tiffany Stratton over, which is the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
You have her cash in at Mania, and you give Tiffany the WrestleMania moment.
Yeah. But I think this also leaves room, especially with the interaction they had last night with Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. I feel like there's potential for faction, because it seems to me like trios are just growing out of the ground out of nowhere in WWE.
Because you got to get people on TV.
And the only reason why I would think that is because when Nia Jax wins, she's going to have some help behind her as well, because in recent months, we've seen a certain duo called the Tonga Twins at the Performance Center.
They have been there, haven't they?
Yes, they have.
I know they got out of their contract.
And they pictured they did, yes.
Yeah, yeah, they did.
And they could give Nia a faction or make them part of the bloodline. Or
Here's the thing. I don't want Nia to get sucked into the bloodline, but I want her to be bloodline adjacent, if that makes sense.
But think about it though. How crazy would this be? And I was discussing this with someone last night. But imagine how crazy this would be. Nia has her own faction. You have this new bloodline. Then you also have Ava running NXT, and all of this is done because of who? Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
But again, if you're gonna do that, you have to give us. You can't give us the implication that it's him. You have to give it where like he's coming out of the NXT office when Sean's going in. Like you have to have him be usurping the authority figures that we thought were the authority figures, and then you have to have him come out mid like Nia Jax promo, and then give her the rub.
And you could start teasing it first with like, you know, you have Ava on the phone and just say certain things like, I got it. I'll get it done. And then she says something or does something, and you're like, okay, did she do this because of she's the manager or because of the phone call? And you start having all these, you know, these little implications, like who's she talking to? Who is it? And then maybe before Halloween Havoc, or what's the other one? What's the other pay-per-view? No Mercy. You know, you see, like you say, you see the Rock coming out of her office.
Or you just have her be like, all right, I'll get it done. All right, love you too, Dad. And then you have her do it, and it's like, wait, what? And then like you just immediately transition. Like it's not even big. Yeah, I love you too, Dad. Click. And then she leaves.
And I don't know if y'all noticed, but all of these subtleties with this bloodline, what was the thing that you always saw the most with Roman's bloodline? When they wore red, they wore red, right?
Yeah.
Red and white, or red and black, and red, black, and white, all of this. There in this era is a little bit it's like mostly black, but hints of red.
Yeah.
Like hints of red. I don't know, because you can't help but notice Ava Raine. I mean, Ava Raine has to be a part of it somehow because her hair is her hair. You know, little glimpses like that. I feel like all of these are little major teases as to how this could be Dwayne's doing. Dwayne's of the bloodline. And Nia Jax would definitely be involved in that because
that's technically that's his cousin. That's his blood.
They're both legit cousins, and they're both favorite cousins as well. They both admitted that to each other and in public knowledge. So Queen Nia.
All right. The final match. And everybody knows my favorite. Damian Priest. I'm not gonna change it. He's retaining.
This one is so tough for me because it's like they've done a tone switch with this feud. Because going after Gunther after Gunther dropped the title and won the King of the Ring, it was like, oh no, this is Gunther's coronation. And then it was like, well, after that they go to Bash of Berlin. And it's like, okay, so why are we waiting so long to like crown Damian Priest? So like give him a long reign and then like, you know, give it to Gunther. And then he wins King of the Ring and they're like, oh, when you win King and Queen of the Ring, you get a title match at SummerSlam. So it's like, wait, so we're getting the match at SummerSlam and not at Bash of Berlin? Doesn't make sense. Especially when they tell you that, well, first off, Gunther's Austrian, not German. That's the first thing that we need to get clear. He's not German, he's Austrian. So technically Berlin is not his hometown. It's just hometown adjacent. But it's very curious to me that they've done this whole quote unquote street rat thing with Damian Priest, where he gets to tap into his roots from the Bronx. He gets to just be, you know, what was his independent name?
Walter.
No, not him. Damian's independent name.
Oh, Punishment Martinez.
Punishment Martinez. Like you get to really see Punishment versus Damian Priest that they're trying to sell you, you know? And I think unless there are some shenanigans that go on in this match, I don't know if you can do what you've done with Damian and then have him drop the title. Yeah, that's complicated for me because I feel like the reason why I'm going to say Gunther is because I think it is due to Dominic, Finn, and Liv. Because I think Finn and Liv are going to try to screw him, and Dominic's going to try to jump in and be like, no, that's my boy, blah, blah, blah. and inadvertently screws Damian. Which would be the reason why you don't have a Rhea Damian thing after the blow up. Because they can still be cool, but I don't mess with your man's. Your man's just screwed me. And then Rhea's like, no, but like it was an accident, Damian. Like you can't. So it causes that separation. And it gives the Judgment Day the ultimate last laugh. Because not only do you screw Rhea, you screw Damian. And it gives Finn that upper hand. So I'm going to go with Gunther, but I don't think it's going to be a clean win. And by the way, where the hell is Ludwig Kaiser? Like, what happened to, like, they blew up the Vinci thing and he's just been, like, gone. So it's been like a 2-person trip and then suddenly Kaiser's gone. So it's like, what's going on with y'all? Like, what's going on with the period?
Didn't he just get married?
Kaiser?
I thought he did he?
No.
There's no way. Kaiser's dating Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah, it's like Kaiser's dating Tiffany.
Or did he get engaged?
No. Blair Davenport just got married to the kid from NXT that's in Chase U.
Yes. Right.
Okay. So here's my all right. I got Damian Priest winning, but here's the thing. I see it blowing up. Judgment Day blowing up, like we're saying. It's gonna blow up, but I see him retaining though. Because
I feel like it's gonna happen after he retains. I apologize.
What's that? The blow up?
I feel like the blow up's gonna happen after he retains. It's gonna be a whole evolution, thumbs up, thumbs down kind of thing.
Well, too, you also have to deal with the whole like Damian can't win on his own thing. Like that's that's a part
Damian's
of the story
gonna be lashing at them like, I told you guys I didn't need your help. Like he'll probably be pissed that they came out there or did something. Something would go amok. There's definitely gonna be shenanigans here. But I think Priest retains. He's celebrating, on his own mostly. And I feel like that's where we get the betrayal.
I think we get,
and it'll be Finn, obviously, who's gonna do got to light the first match.
Yeah, I think we get the betrayal in this match. I think what's gonna happen is you might not get the full betrayal, but you get the seedings of a betrayal coming.
He got enough seeds, goddammit.
Because it's like I mean, say Finn is gonna go I forgot when this happened. Somebody did it, but they went to trip somebody. They didn't look, and instead of tripping the opponent, they tripped their partner or their person in the same faction. Tripped them by accident. I think that's what's gonna happen. Trim's like, oh, Gunther's coming. Goes to swipe, and it's not Gunther. It's actually Damian, and he trips Damian. Doesn't call him the match, but Damian's like, what are you doing, bro? Like, and then he gets back because you know how he says, I don't want you here. So he does this, and I think that's where we start having issues. He retains, but I think that's where he's like, what's going on? I told you not to come here, and you almost cost me the match. And then you probably see Finn apologizing for being out there and all that stuff. And then when Damian turns around, he doesn't attack him, doesn't do anything to attack him, but you see him, that little smirk of his, I almost cost you the match. I came close, and you still don't realize what I'm doing, kind of thing. But I think I agree with you, honey. I think the full betrayal comes later on, but I think you start seeing hints of it. If it hasn't been obvious for people, you start seeing where he might almost cost him the match. But I don't think it's
I just want to blow up at this point. I think Wrestle Talk kind of put it in a very good way. I think the problem with Triple H's booking that I have is that at some point you get to the place where it's like, all right, hurry up and get there. There's a difference between long-term booking and just booking really long stories with a lot of filler. This feels like there's those animes where it's like those episodes of Dragon Ball Z and Naruto where it's like the reason why it's 3,000 episodes is because you got of the 3,000, you got maybe 500 that are meaningful and the rest are filler. Too fucking long.
You forget what you're dealing with. This is D-Generation X running the business. This is Triple H and Shawn Michaels, the kings of long-term storytelling.
Again, There's
So of
between
course
long-term
they
storytelling.
have more patience than we do for this shit because they know exactly what the end result is gonna be, and when we find out what that is, that's when we're gonna be like, and
That's the
it's
thing.
even bigger than it was before, just like it
Here's my
was this
problem.
year.
Here's my problem. Is you've had more moments of, well, why didn't we do this earlier? Than you've had, oh my God, this is amazing. Like you had one where it's like, okay, the WrestleMania main event was cool. It was really fun, but like it still felt for a lot of people like, all right, this you ain't need to do all this. But all right, whatever. Like I'll accept it. But then you look at stuff like the Chad Gable thing where it's just like,
It took too long.
right? Like you look at LA Knight and Logan Paul. Took too long. You look at DIY finally winning the tag titles. Took too long. You look at you getting a rebrand for the tag titles. Took too long. Like there's way more. You look at the Creeds finally getting with Chad Gable. Took too long. That's my problem. Is that like you're still booking like you're in the 90s where people had a larger attention span. We are not in that generation anymore. You have a window. And if you gonna give me a storm when the window's here, I'm not gonna feel the wind versus I have my window open and I'm ready for the wind to come in and there's no wind. Now I'm just like, eh. And then it starts to get windy and it's just like I don't even give a fuck no more. Like I turn my AC on already.
I don't think
that's where I'm at.
I don't think it's much of the attention span. I think it's more of back then during the Attitude Era, you had WCW, WWE, so you can afford the long-term booking because you needed to keep that attention there between flipping the channels. Nowadays, who do you have? Like you can say AEW, but really, do you have AEW? Because AEW doesn't. Their storylines.
AEW shooting themselves in the foot. Like, yeah, they're doing it to themselves at this point.
The storylines are horrible. So there's nothing they have going on. Like WCW had NWO. So you're like, okay, what's happening now? What's going on? Like, you know what I'm saying? You had something to flip the channels for. Right now, you don't have anything in AEW that's making you flip the channels. They're like, let's be honest, anybody watching or you're watching later on, if you see anything in AEW that is causing you to flip between WWE and AEW and you think we should know about it, let us know. Something to the extent of like NWO, like to that extent. They don't have it. They tried it, but they failed because, like Jay said, they're shooting themselves in the foot. And back then, you could afford to have long-term booking because you needed it in order to have people flip the channels or stay on your channel. Now you're like the only show in town, so you can't afford to have long-term booking all the time. You know, and
that's what I mean.
Real quick on
my
Kaiser.
Biggest thing is I don't have an issue with long-term booking, but everything doesn't need to be long-term booking. Like every single story has to be 200 days, bro.
Yeah, real quick.
I turn up TV shows faster than that, bro.
Yeah,
like,
Kaiser,
bro.
Logan Kaiser hasn't been on TV because he has a rib injury since his match with
Braun
Breaker.
Well, that makes sense.
He's got broken ribs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
messing with that dude, you will definitely break a rib.
Yeah, he said he's still on track to be at Bash at Berlin, so not to worry.
Okay,
he will be there.
Okay.
So we find out what happened to Kaiser. But yeah, so all right, so Gunther, Jay, you Gunther, and I think me and Crystal are for Damien.
I feel like I've taken Benny's role now, just being the contrarian.
Yeah, I do it once in a while.
See, but your takes just be so outlandish that it's like, you know what? You just doing it just to be different. Like you just out here doing it just to do it.
It's just crazy. It's just crazy. It's just all right. So
that's the whole card, right?
That is the whole card.
Okay.
There's so much that can happen.
Okay, so
there's still so much because all the stories.
Regular wrestling talk. Here's my thing with NXT. I told you I was going to come back to this. We're done with SummerSlam. If you want to get off now, I get it. I understand. I'm not. You have our predictions. Have a good day. Regular wrestling talk. I think what I just found out was that it's in Joe Hendry's contract now that he can use the Performance Center.
Yes.
So I think the Ethan Page thing was to get over Joe Hendry. And I think they're going to put the title on Joe Hendry closer towards when his contract expires because they're trying to poach him and Jordan Grace. So I think the play here is to get Joe Hendry because Joe Hendry is bigger than wrestling right now.
Yep.
When you have NFL walkdowns where they're like, what song's on your mind? And freaking Saints running back.
His name.
And that's coming out of nowhere. And that's been like on top
I
of the and all that.
believe in Joe Hendry.
Classrooms too. There's some classrooms as well too.
Yeah. So like Joe Hendry is bigger than like he's becoming a pop culture icon.
Yeah.
So I think the play is to have Joe Hendry end up winning the title. Which is why I think that they're like, hey, I get that Trick is big, but this thing we have over here, like this potential partnership, getting a hold of this guy could potentially be bigger. Especially because he was just an ambassador to TNA.
I'm kind of sad about that. It breaks my heart.
I mean, I get it, but it's like what you said with the Rock and Roman versus Roman and Cody. Like sometimes you have to make the sacrifice on the front end to get the payoff on the back end. You just have to make sure there's a payoff on the back end. Because again, Trick's story really revolved around Mello, and then you want to develop Trick. So if you wanted Trick to do different things, you kind of have to take him out of the title picture, which I'm not a big fan of, but because they need Trick to kind of be the non-champion, like they need him to be the Seth Rollins, to where you build the main event picture around him so that when you need a championship match, there are more than worthy candidates. Because right now, they don't have it. They don't have a lot of main event guys.
Yeah, and I don't think he's ready for the main roster yet.
No, he's not
yet.
You need a little, like you're starting to see him turn the corner in terms of his wrestling a little bit, especially with his work with Javon. I want to say his name is Javon Evans. I don't know why I was about to say Carter, but that's the NFL thing. My bad. Yeah, with Javon Evans. And they've already told you Javon Evans is next up. They've already told you that. But Javon Evans is still so raw that you kind of need to build the rest of the especially the men's side, you need to build the rest of that out. So I think going back to the Carmelo Hayes thing, I think when you have it set up that Carmelo Hayes ends up being the U.S. champion 7-8 months from now, you give yourself 7-8 months to possibly build Trick to the point where when you debut him, his star will be big enough that you can have him, you can then run the him and Melo thing back. And now you have history, you have talking points because they've been able to watch each other. And I also just got told that on non-wrestling talk that the Pats and the Browns are trying to trade for Brandon Ayuk, offering him $30 million a year.
Well, the Browns are trying to figure it out because Amani Cooper wants a new contract. So
they gave him the money up front. They kind of gave him that money already. So it's a 1-year deal, and that's fine because if you can go and get Ayuk, you can get the trio for this year and then let Cooper walk, and you still have Jerry Jeudy and Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have that contract for Cooper, and Ayuk I think is younger, right? Ayuk is younger. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'd rather give in the business aspect of it, I'd rather give that money to a younger receiver with quite possibly less miles on him. Mm-hmm. You know, but the Browns will do what the Browns do. So, like I always say, the Browns will be the Browns.
The Browns are gonna live and die by Deshaun Watson. Like that's pretty clear. Because they have everything else. There's no reason why we shouldn't be considering them Super Bowl favorites just based on the talent that they have in the building. Yeah,
but it's a matter of.
I can think of a few reasons why.
Yeah, it's a matter of if Deshaun Watson will get back to his level that he was when he was in Houston. That's the question. Like he was before his injury, he was starting to come around.
He was back there. Not as long as he's in Cleveland, I'm assuming, right?
He'll never get back there. There's no coming back from that shit.
Well, I mean, I think it's all mental at this point because physically he should be back. He wasn't. He was never really hurt. He should be able to.
It was the shoulder injury that required surgery, no?
Well, yeah, there was the shoulder, so I mean, maybe.
All I
that's
know
it.
is I'm excited for my season. I'm excited.
Yeah, there's been a lot of good news coming out. This is like not wrestling talk, but whatever. There's a lot of really good news coming out of Pittsburgh, especially about Justin.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like my biggest thing is if they're smart and things continue to go the way they're going,
Which they are.
you gotta get him locked in long term before the trade deadline. You have to, because the key is if you lock him down and you get him at a reasonable price, then you can continue to build that team and you can just let Russ go and retire or do whatever it is he's gonna do. Because if you like what you have with Justin, you have your number one receiver, you have your offensive line apparently looks great. The defense is always just, is retooled and ready to go. So if you can have that young quarterback that gives you what you've been missing, that can kind of propel you instead of just being like a first round out, like you guys can actually compete.
The standard is the standard.
Right. And hats off to you guys to be able to go out there and it shows the how good Mike Tomlin is as a coach and how good his staff is, because it's like
I know
they did what the Bears couldn't do in 3 years. They did it in 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
They did it in 6 months, and it's like, all right. So then we knew. It just goes to show that we knew Justin Fields was the second best quarterback in that class. We knew.
Yep.
But anyway, my biggest thing was the Joe Hendry thing. I think the play is to have Joe Hendry not only sign with WWE, but also be the
champion and defend the title on both promotions.
Yeah, probably. I mean, again, you have Dolph Ziggler now as the champion in TNA.
Mm-hmm.
So my biggest thing is you've done all of this. When are we getting Moose in NXT, bro? I need Moose in NXT. Bro.
I need Moose versus Obafemi now.
Word. And
now.
The thing is too, I need Drew to kind of come down to NXT. I need Moose to confront Drew, because the casual fans ain't gonna understand that on the main roster. They're not gonna know who the hell Moose is. NXT fans know who the hell Moose is. So I need Drew to just be casually down there talking crap, and because they got history, they got history.
I feel like Obafemi and Moose would be sickening.
Oh yeah, no,
you're trying to think of people that could possibly stop this guy, and I'm thinking about the crossover promotions and things like that, and who's on there. I'm like, it makes sense. It's got to be Moose.
Here's the thing. I think Moose will probably be the last challenger Obafemi has before he loses the title. Because I think the plan is to have him drop it to Javon Evans.
And I'm okay with that, with North American title being something like that.
It's what the U.S. title was in WCW.
Right. This is the title. The title holder of this one's going to be is an up and coming star. And we want you to keep eyes on him. So we're going to do this. And I'm okay with that. That's what it was. Like you're saying, that there was the U.S. title, and then there was a TV title. TV title was another one as well too.
Mm-hmm.
TV title prepped the U.S. contenders,
right?
And I'm okay with that. And like I said, the WWE should look at the main roster. Should look at maybe a third tier, like a TV title of some sort.
I've been calling for that for good.
Yeah,
I've been calling for that for years.
Yeah, we've been saying that, and I'm like, they need a TV title, and then lo and behold, here comes the TBS and the TNT title for AEW. I'm like, but who knows? Maybe they'll do it on the Netflix.
I don't know.
Maybe. Again, that one's gonna have 3 hours, no ratings. They can do what the hell they want.
Mm-hmm.
And then SmackDown's coming on USA, so I can see a lot changing next year. A lot. I don't think it's gonna be PG anymore. Let's just say that.
It's definitely not going to be PG anymore. The PG era has been dead since April and March.
Yeah. Live.
And Liv and Dom's story and and the final boss bloodying up Cody Rhodes on national television and cursing, like all the cursing they've been doing. Like,
I
yeah,
think they're prepping it.
gear
I think
up for Netflix, y'all, because it's
yeah,
gonna
I
be
think
fun.
they're slowly pushing away from. They're not like ripping that band-aid off. I think they're like slowly taking away that PG era label off of themselves, which is fine. You know, I had
Between
no
going to
problem.
Netflix and then SmackDown going to Raw.
Yeah.
I mean, to
Yeah,
not Raw, to USA.
the USA. Yeah, and then NXT going to the CW, which I don't know what that's about, but
I think
okay.
they'll be just fine on there though. It's
Yeah, they'll be all right.
their content is perfect for the CW.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's that, and then what do we have? I still want a pay-per-view in December. There's like I feel like it gets stale in December a little
Bring
bit.
back Armageddon, man.
Yeah. I'm 100%. You need to bring back Armageddon
Or Judgment Day. You could literally have Judgment Day.
I mean, I don't know if you can do a pay-per-view with the name of your faction right now. That's my problem, is that you can't really do it because people relate it now to a faction versus a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I mean, you can like rebrand it to like Final Judgment or something crazy like that.
One Night Stand.
Yeah, like stuff like that.
You can do. Let's see.
Like they've rebrand Clash of Champions to like,
or maybe they do
their European stuff.
Maybe it's because they're doing that New Year's Eve thing. Maybe, and
But that's an NXT. That's an NXT thing. Oh, I think December is also one of the Saudi shows, isn't it?
No, it's November. November
No,
7th.
November. Say, yeah, November.
There's a lot going on in November. I don't understand.
There's too much going on.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like between the Saudi show and then now you have War Games, you got the NFL on freaking every like almost on like every day, and then you got the NBA starting up again too. It's like, yo, y'all doing too much. Y'all doing entirely too much right now. Like we don't have like I'm gonna need at this point, I'm gonna need like 3 TVs going at the same time. Like y'all doing too
Get a TV, your phone going, your iPad, and
yeah, and I'm still gonna need a third. Like I'm still gonna need a second TV.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Paul,
And on top of that, I got Agatha All Along coming back like around like freaking October, around like Halloween. Like it's just y'all doing too much to me right now.
Yeah, I'm playing NCAA 2025 Dynasty with some friends. So we did that first season. We all picked like big teams. I got my ass smacked. But now
yo.
Bro, 80 to 20. That's an ass smacking. That's a whooping. I don't know how anyone else would.
How you let somebody throw up 80 on you, and that's wicked.
I was Florida State. He was Oregon. He had, bro, if I tell you, he had 2 number 4s on defense. He had one that looked like he was Samoan, but it looked like freaking Hikaleu's twin brother. Add another 40 pounds to that man muscle, and I swear it looked like he was if he jumped the ball with one hand, no matter how high I lobbed it, he came down with it. I'm just like, how are you doing this, bro? Like, I know it's a game, it's a video game, but how is Samoans don't dunk? Samoans throw spears. Samoans throw spine busters.
Headbutt.
Samoan drops.
Don't say that.
They don't
say that. You don't know that. These defensive tackles out here that be on the West Coast.
He was a linebacker. Safety.
Yeah,
the only Samoan that I knew that was a badass, Troy Polamalu. But that man was like spearing people. He wasn't really going up. He wasn't a ball hawk. He got some INTs. I'll give him that. He got some INTs, but he wasn't jumping up 8 feet in the air, one-handed, coming down with it, and then taking off. I'm just like,
oh, that might be a glitch then, my boy. That might be a glitch.
Oh, trust me. The one I was playing against, we know him doing some shady stuff with computers and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's definitely a glitch because that don't even sound right.
We joke with him because he got banned from Diablo because he created some armor or ring or something that as soon as he walked into a room, everybody died. We're like, we call him General Grievous. I don't want to say his name. We call him General Grievous. We're like, General Grievous, not supposed to do that. And then so we joke around when we play new Diablo, any game that's with Blizzard, like did you create a new account because your original one is banned? He's like, no, it's good. Like, no, I think you're banned.
No.
So yeah, so now we started a new season because another friend of ours picked up the game. 2-star schools. That's it. Nothing big. 2-star schools. So I picked San Diego State, and I'm in the process of recruiting and scouting right now. Pretty much. That's why you see me going around here.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah,
That's so again, just let's just roll through the picks again. I want to see how many each of us have.
All right. So the ones that we fully agreed on through and through.
LA Knight,
LA
Liv.
Knight wins, Braun Breaker wins, Liv Morgan wins, Nia Jax wins,
Okay.
and Cody Rhodes wins. We are split on the Gunther Priest match, CM Punk McIntyre match, and that's it pretty much. Everything else is those are the only two that we are split on.
Oh, we did good today.
Yeah. I mean,
it's been a general consensus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then especially with the events of last night, it's kind of just like not sure what to expect.
the only way I could see Rhea winning her match is by DQ, where you still keep the title on Liv Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that happening, and that's kind of like the back part of my mind is like thinking about it. That could happen where like something happens where Rhea wins by DQ, but she doesn't win the title. So you keep that feud going, and you have Liv retaining the title. You know,
Yeah.
keeping Rhea strong and keeping the title on Liv. That's the only way. And then you could you can see the seedings of something happening there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe causing more confusion where Dom interferes, accidentally causing this to happen.
Or Dom is intentionally doing it.
Like
he actually turns on mommy.
Well, I don't think he's going to. I just think he does something stupid because he's been doing stuff like that for a while.
Yeah.
Where he doesn't mean to do it. You know,
That's
like when he do the cheer. Like, hey, take the cheer, you're gonna win. And no, it turns out it comes another way. So it's like when you watch the matches, you're like, okay, he's doing it to help it, but because something happened, it didn't work out that way. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like his intent was there, and everybody was watching. His intent was there, but it didn't work out. So it gives credence to everybody else in the ring to make it work the way it did, because you start thinking like some people are. Is he really helping, or is he doing it on purpose? You know, so that's when that happens, everybody there is doing their job perfectly.
Right. Basically.
So I can see something like that happening. The Cody Rhodes one, the reason when I watch that match is I want to see what happens, who shows up, because I got a feeling Hikuleo is going to make his appearance. I really do. I think that's where the beginning of the bloodline fuse happens, where you start to see sides appear. You have Solo on his side. Okay, you have Jimmy and Hikuleo. Okay, who sent them? Why are you against us? Why are you causing us problems? You know, like what's going on here? You know.
Side note: the USA men's basketball team just qualified for the number 1 seed going into the elimination rounds by beating the brakes of Puerto Rico. Sorry, guys. 104-83. And Anthony Edwards, I think, had like a team high 26 or 28 or whatever. They beat the brakes off them boys.
Did you watch that Canada-USA game yesterday?
Canada hasn't played USA yet.
No. Sorry, Canada-Spain game yesterday?
Nah.
Bro. Canada was up by I think at one point 12 points in the third quarter. And next thing you know, was it Bredzula? I can't remember. Number 8. He just caught on fire. 3 threes. Pop. I was like, yo, the game came down to at the end of it came down to a 1-point game. And Canada pulled it off. It was a hell of a good game. Like you thought Canada was gonna pull away, but Spain fought.
This is my thing with Spain. It's like there's Spain, there's Serbia, there's just certain teams out there in the Olympics that you just can't sleep on. It don't matter. You got to be up 35 to be comfortable, because some of these teams are just they've been around the block too long.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's Team USA has the ability to win this completely, but then it's like, okay, are we taking you serious? Are you taking this serious? Like, what's going on? Because like the pre-games, like like you saw what happened with South Sudan, but then you saw them playing the Olympics and they beat South Sudan. But still, it's like, okay, so not trying to take away from South Sudan because they're playing good, but it makes you wonder how serious is the U.S. taking it. You know what I mean?
I think the first time when South Sudan got close to beating the U.S. in the friendlies, the U.S. was still trying to figure out what they were doing. But it was clear when they just played them, they figured it out. They played the lineup that they were supposed to play, and they whooped them boys.
Yeah, and that's
So
the
it was
thing
one of those like, we was playing with y'all before. We're not playing with y'all no more.
and that's the thing with Serbia. I'm just like, okay, Serbia got whooped. They got whooped the first time, and Joker played 3 quarters. The other two, Bogdanovic and the other guy, I can't remember his name, they didn't play at all. So I'm like, okay. Then they played that first game. I'm like, okay, it wasn't that bad. I'm like, but at moments I'm like, okay, are they testing the US? And then like the coach is trying to figure out like, okay, what I do here, but like because those two are supposed to come out of that group 1 and 2. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
USA 1, Serbia 2. And then like, okay, I'll figure you out because I'll be in like Serbia's like, I'll be in the final. So I need to figure you out what you do and prepare long term for that one. But my concern with that one is if you do that, then you're sleeping on everybody else on your way to the finals.
Because that's the thing. If Serbia is sleeping on South Sudan, it's a problem. Because South Sudan is a problem.
No, they are.
They're a
like
problem.
it's like wow, like like Luol Deng is doing a great job over there.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite event that's starting to come around is the track and field. The 4x400 mixed relay was the USA literally broke the record yesterday. It was crazy. They almost got disqualified because there was one girl, I can't remember her name, but her head was shaved down. So there's that line where you're supposed to be for the baton handoff.
Mm-hmm.
And she was so excited to go, she went past it. But luckily for her, she realized it, and so she got back in between the lines to stay legit. So yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. So
Well, that's all for sports talk today.
yeah. So all right, I want to know how Johnny Gargano's dad's restaurant is doing. Like, if they're gonna do something because I'm sure they probably had a lot going on for.
Oh, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. No, get the fuck out of here. We're not doing that. Absolutely not. Keep him away from that storyline as much as possible. Please, God. He'll just overshadow everything. No. No.
All right, so Crown Jewel.
That's funny though. That is funny. Man, fuck y'all, man.
So all right, so Crown Jewel on November 2nd. And you know how they're saying they're trying to make those Saudi events be more in line with storylines. Now, if they're trying to keep the bloodline in, we already know Jacob Fatu has some issues with traveling.
All of them do.
They all do.
All of them. All of them. The only person that's clean
is Solo.
at this point is Roman and Solo. Everybody else got records. Everybody else got everything. All of them.
Maybe it'll help them fix it. I don't know. Maybe something will transpire before that. I mean, I don't know how when they gotta have all these international events and they're champions.
Yeah,
They do not have the titles defended internationally.
Here's my thing. I wonder if it'll be a situation where to protect Jacob because they're going to use the Freebird rule because it's in the bloodline.
Oh no shit! You remember this kid from Tough Enough?
Which one?
Vaguely.
Yeah.
He has just joined the WWE writing team.
Oh,
really?
He was the one that Stone Cold he got like Stone Cold got in his face because he was the big dude, but he was slow and he he couldn't keep up with a lot of the workouts and stuff like that. But yeah, dope.
That's good for him.
That's cool. But I don't know, man. I don't know what to expect, but I guess we'll see. And no spoilers, please, because I will be on the hustle tonight.
It's fine. I'll just keep. Every time I get excited, I'll just drop a Joe Hendry meme in the chat.
You know, it's
Oh,
funny because you look. I like the guy, and I don't want to not like him, but it it's kind of getting
It's
crazy.
getting there.
It's getting crazy, and I'm sick of all these "we want Roman" chants. All you fake ass ooses with your fake ones up.
Here's the thing. I don't think anybody never wanted Roman. They just didn't want Roman as champion. They didn't say they didn't want him around. They just didn't want him as champion.
Yeah, sure.
Like we know the Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns era is coming to a close, and it's hard to admit it. But it's almost like when
And the Moxley era.
I haven't watched him really since he left. So.
I haven't either, but
As far as I know, he hasn't really been around. He's been, very much focused on family life. Like he just hasn't really been around all that much.
But yeah, man, it's quite the time.
Just want to
for the
know.
Shield.
I know Buddy Matthews resigned. I want to know if Malachi is going to resign, and I want to know what's going on with Keith Lee.
Don't get
Those
me
are
started.
my inquiring questions.
Don't get me
Those,
started.
second.
if those are the two guys that I want back in WWE desperately.
Okay, here we go.
Because Malachi should have been in the Judgment Day. And if anyone can bring back that vibe that they had with Edge, it would be Malachi in a black suit.
Malachi should have been the one to be the leader of the Judgment Day.
I agree.
Or his House of Black, because you know that he was going to bring that. He was going to bring that vibe there, especially with the things that they were having him do until they had him attack Big E, which was fucking pointless.
Oh shit!
What's he got? Like 2 years left.
Keith Lee has an unknown injury.
It's probably got to do with his heart.
How recent is that?
This article I'm reading is from like July 5th. He was supposed to face Swerve Strickland at World's End, but they got replaced by Dustin Rhodes.
I think it has everything to do with the COVID stuff and his heart.
Yeah, fuck, man. Sorry, didn't mean to curse. It's just
yes, you did.
Yeah,
I mean that shit, dog. It's all right.
It's annoying because we know what Keith Lee can do. We seen it. We know it, and it was a damn shame when WWE let him go because there was no need for that. Matt says Solo's winning tonight. Okay. There was no need for him to get the treatment he got, and it sucked that he had his health issues when it happened. It derailed his
career. You're a traitor.
You see my couch tonight, bro. You see my couch tonight. In regards to Malachi Black, because of what they did with Buddy Matthews, I won't be surprised to do the same thing with Malachi Black. The question will be if he'll take the money and do it as well. If he does, I don't blame him.
If they're gonna throw the bank at you, then by all means, go make your bread.
That's still fucked up though.
It is, but you know what? If that's how AEW Tony Khan wants to run his company, so be it. I'm not gonna question him.
I want Triple H to find a way to buy his ass out, buy that contract out, at least that one.
I want Buddy Matthews and Malachi Black. I could care less about the other guy, Brody
King.
Yeah. I know that's Malachi's boy and everything. It just
His name is Alistair when he comes back.
But yeah, so who else are we looking at here? So that AEW roster, because I don't think Moxie's coming back at all. And
no,
he might mend the fences with Triple H and WWE, but I just don't think it's going to be the same though.
You never know. You can never say never now. Look at how closely CM Punk is working with Shawn Michaels and Triple H.
Yeah.
Well, CM Punk made his intentions known. CM Punk said when he's all said and done, he wants to replace Shawn Michaels. He said it. He said he wants. He's
Good
in
for
the
him.
process of like doing his contract in a way where he can spend time shadowing Shawn Michaels, so that when they make that transition,
They were currently at SummerSlam tryouts this weekend together. CM Punk came with Shawn. I
yeah,
think that's
because
awesome.
he straight up told Shawn, like, I want to, when you finally decide to like go home and do whatever it is you want to do, I want to take over. Which again, if you look at the creative minds of both guys and you look at their wrestling styles and how great technically they are, the transition should be seamless. It makes so much sense that CM Punk creatively would take that job.
Yeah. But until then, we have to deal with SummerSlam tonight, which is happening. And there's nothing we can do to stop it.
I'm so like stressed about
Let-
the world title pictures for both. It's just
let the games begin.
yeah, I mean,
Bring on the
this feels
return,
like,
bring
I
on the
think it was
betrayal, bring on the drama.
this feels like, I think it was season 4 of Game of Thrones with Ramsay, where it's like, I know I have to get through this season, but fuck, I hate watching this season. Like, that's what it felt like. And I'm just like,
Right,
I
because
still felt
they
like,
had Ramsey Bolton and the Red Wedding and all that
yeah, bro, like,
shit that I
all that
can't
stuff.
unsee till this day.
And it's like, even at the end when Ramsay got like attacked by the dogs, spoilers, if you don't know that by now, then like, fuck off. I don't know what to tell you. Like, that joint been around for like 10 years. You've had 10 years to watch that.
Yes.
It still didn't feel like it was enough. Like, it's the same thing when Cersei died. Like,
And it was too
I feel like you
quick.
gotta wait. Yeah, like you gotta wait too quick.
Worse.
No, the worst
deserved
was like
worse than what you got. But I think the whole point of Cersei not having I think it was like a poetic justice kind of thing, because Ramsay relied on his dogs to kill for him. So he got killed by his own dogs. And see how loyal they really are when a dog is hungry. But in Cersei's case, I feel like it was technically poetic justice, but it was like, you definitely did deserve worse. But at the same time, you got what was coming to you, because you were so used to having control and controlling things and power this and power that. You literally had no power to stop your own death, and there was nothing you could do about it and nowhere you could escape.
I still think I wanted it way more bloody. That's just
I wanted a dragon to eat her up.
I wanted a dragon to eat her. I wanted her to get burned. I wanted her to choke on her own blood. I wanted her to die the way Joffrey did.
My thing
was satisfying. Joffrey's death was highly satisfying.
Yeah, the one that got me was the Night King. It was like
we don't even talk about that, bro. Like
that one, I was just like, okay, you led up to everything and just like
never got that dope one-on-one fight scene between him and John and shit.
No.
Get to fucking get all his minions to wake up and do it, and then instead you get assassinated by a little girl, by Arya Stark. Crazy.
Yeah. And then you had Arya Stark
killed the Freys. Like, she ended up being the real beast out of all of them. She killed the Freys. She sunned the Hound. She even though she practiced against Brienne, she still beat her in the practice. Like, she proved to be better than all of them.
Yeah.
Or just as good as John, anyway.
Yeah, and
because John,
I didn't like the way it
warrior.
At the end of it, it's like, okay, so Brandon is this and you're that. I'm like, okay, so did you
Brandon
really
had it
have
way
to?
Too easy?
Huh?
Brandon had it way too easy.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, like
everybody else did the work for you, and then
one-eyed Raven.
Hodor.
I think what happened
ended up being the one-eyed Raven.
Yeah, the thing was, what happened is, I think it's because of the fact they didn't want to wait for the book to be written out to close it out. They just wrote it the way they thought it was supposed to be. So
stupid.
Like, and I get it, but I mean, if that's the case, there was still more story you could have gone through till that final. But I think that they were getting to the point where we have to end the show. We can't keep doing this. But it's like, you just shot yourself in the foot, because that ending was like, yeah,
garbage.
Well, we'll see how House of the Dragon ends tomorrow.
It was like the Creed brothers. You like a little big fart, and I guess instead of going to go, get up.
Jesus
wet one
Christ,
too.
Paul.
A wet
We're
one too.
on the air still.
This man and his fart jokes is just I can't.
Well, right now it's like we got a tropical storm coming in, and everybody's prepping for it, and it's like, oh, it's gonna be a hurricane. I'm be like, I'm gonna just walk out with my umbrella because that's all it's gonna do is just rain. Ain't gonna be nothing. Ain't gonna be nothing. Ain't no thing. Ain't no thing but a check wang.
All right. I think it's time we get out of here. I think it's time to leave. It's time to go.
On that note, time to go.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us and our crazy selves towards the end of all this. If you watch SummerSlam, hope you enjoy it. Write in your comments anything you want to go at. Join Wrestling with Honey tomorrow night for her, or not tomorrow night, Monday night for her live stream. Who are you gonna be with Monday? By yourself?
Monday, I'm gonna be with Women's Wrestling Talk on Monday because we do our weekly live shows. I'm thinking that I might possibly do a watch along on Women's Wrestling Talk as well for the debut of the Wyatt Six, because I think that's definitely something that I'm going to want to react to.
Also, plug your podcast.
Oh, yes. People like and subscribe. The Wrestling with Honey podcast on YouTube. Got a lot of things cooking up in the hive for you over there. Shout outs to these lovely fellas for seeing these great faces and making these predictions. It's going to be quite the time in SummerSlam, so make sure you guys stay tuned and follow me on Wrestling with Honey on all the platforms: TikTok, Wrestling with Honey, Facebook, Wrestling W Honey, Instagram, Wrestling with Honey. And yes, like I said before, like and subscribe. That Wrestling with Honey YouTube, that podcast coming real soon.
Thank you, everybody. See ya.